Hey, good afternoon, everyone. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chandler Jordan. Hopefully your Monday's off to a great start so far and really starting to heat on up out there. This is the first of what could be two separate First Alert weather days. And for one, it's our first heat advisory of the year. All the counties that you see in orange on your screen, this includes the entire Midlands, is under this heat advisory until 7 p.m. this evening. Feels like temperatures have already started to tap into the triple digits. That would include Aiken, where it feels as hot as 101, feels as hot as 96 right now in Bishopville, hot as 94 right now in Columbia. And feels like temperatures are going to continue to climb well into the triple digits as we head into this afternoon and even into an early part of this evening. And then that's when our second First Alert Weather Day starts to come into play, especially as we watch some thunderstorms move towards us. Of course, dry right now. It's these clusters out throughout portions of Tennessee and northern Alabama that we will be watching very closely as they march towards the Midlands. Already out in these areas, there's a tornado watch in effect, severe thunderstorm watch in effect as well. None for us right now, but something that we could possibly have issued once we get a little later into the afternoon and evening and we see how these thunderstorms make it through the mountains and eventually move into the Midlands. So from now until about 6 o'clock, it's going to be just hot and humid out there. Once we get closer to 4 and 5 o'clock, if you live close to the upstate, start watching to your north and west. That's where thunderstorms will start to build in. And then we'll have a couple of strong storms that we're going to have to deal with at times, especially by 7 and 8 o'clock this evening. That's where we could see thunderstorms move into portions of Lexington and Richland counties. Almost the entire state under this level 3 of 5 enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms, and that does include all of the Midlands as we watch these clusters of storms move towards us later in the day. Now, the two main threats we're going to be worried about: extremely heavy rain, especially within the leading edge of these segments. There will also be some strong gusts of wind. I think many of these storms, as they move through the region, could have wind gusts anywhere from 50 to 70 miles per hour. So that will alone be worth watching very closely as the leading edge gets here. Of course, some frequent lightning within the strongest of storms where we have the heaviest of rain and strong winds. Our hail opportunities low. Can't entirely rule out hail as big as a quarter, but for many of these storms, we're not going to have to worry about hail and the opportunity for a brief tornado. Sometimes within these Boeing segments, you can get a quick area that spins up and produces a tornado warning. But I think for most of us, we will avoid that, and we'll just have to keep an eye out for strong gusts of wind. So here's First Alert Futurecast, noticing we're all good until we get to about 5, 6 o'clock. That's where we watch to the north and west. So those of us in Chester, Newberry, Saluda, make sure you keep an eye out on the forecasts. Closer to 5 and 6 o'clock, you'll have some storms approaching you from your north and from your west. And then once we get closer to 7 and 8 o'clock, that includes places like Chesterfield, Bishopville, Camden, Columbia, dealing with some stronger thunderstorms closer to 8 o'clock. Once we get closer to 10 o'clock, 1 or 2 stronger storms could be left over in places like Orangeburg, even as far east as Kingstree. And then once we get towards midnight, that's where our First Alert Weather Day is done for. And from there, it's a beautiful start to your Tuesday morning. Mild, but not so bad, and we will be storm free. And then our afternoon Tuesday and Wednesday looking pretty solid. It'll be a little less humid for this time of the year. Highs only in the low 90s. And then once we get into Thursday, Friday, a few more thunderstorms build back into the Midlands, and our pattern stays unsettled as we head into this upcoming weekend.